To me, it felt a bit more doable, I guess. But I hit a lot of good shots. Sometimes it's hard to get a measure of that because I had a few kind of lucky ones that like ran up the banks and came back next to the hole. It's definitely set up that it changes so much from morning to afternoon. It's really hard to tell. I played quite late yesterday and it felt really, really hard. It might have been a bit like this yesterday morning. Does that make sense? But it's pretty doable. 16 is interesting tee. 12 the tee's up a little bit and the pins in the bowl. There's still a lot of tough pins out there, a lot of back pins, but they're pins that you can hit it. They're pins that you can hit it close if you use the slopes right and you hit the right shots. 9, 10, 11, really tough holes, but they're all holes that you can get them to come back off the hills. 15, the tee's up, you can make a birdie on, you hit a wedge there. 17's kind of a birdie pin for 17, and 18's on for sure. So I think, I don't know, it never really happens, but I get a feeling that one or two of the leaders might go even or one under or something today, I think. As I said, this course, you can see it get drier in front of you, you know. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's hard to measure when you hit good shots and you feel like you kind of get the best idea around how hard it is. But there's obviously 3 or 4, 5 good scores out there this morning, so I think the leaders might have a little bit better time of it this afternoon than they did yesterday.
As a U.S. Open champion, what do you think of the venue as a U.S. Open?
The course is definitely a tough enough test. Logistically, it seems to have its issues, but I didn't have to follow me, you know what I mean? Which apparently is quite difficult. But I mean, we don't play USA, well, apart from maybe Pebble and Torrey, it's an equal setting, you know, I mean, it's pretty stunning. I've never, I didn't expect it to be this beautiful here, I guess. I mean, maybe I was expecting it to rain and be cold, like everyone says Seattle rains all the time. No, I had a good time. I mean, as I said, logistically it seems to have its problems, but as far as the holes and the golf it asks you to play, I think I told someone earlier in the week you're going to have whoever wins is going to be a quality player. You have to move the ball both ways. You have to use your brain out there, which is a rare thing in modern pro golf and something that we're not very good at, I don't think. So it's going to be a class act of a player who wins, and really that's all you want. Sometimes in US Opens it feels like that might not be the case, and this one I think you're really going to get the guy who plays the best is going to win, I think. There's a lot of talk about the greens and stuff like that, but forever great putters have putted well on bad greens, forever. I mean, so I think great putters don't like putting on greens that are bumpy, but they usually putt quite well. I think people who are struggling with their putting really have trouble on bad greens, and good putters just get on with it. I think there's a lot about it that makes it a really good venue.
Do you think the criticisms of the greens has been fair or warranted?
It's pretty fair. I mean, there's some pretty questionable surfaces for sure. I don't understand agronomy at all. It seems like the whole course is obviously this fine fescue, and there seems to be no power at all in the fairways, but it's all in the greens. So obviously something goes on with however they treat the greens, or because if people bring it in on their feet, you'd think it would get on the fairways as well. It just seems interesting. I don't know. I'm sure if they could go, I'm sure if they had their time again, they'd go back 4 or 5 years and put some sort of bent into the mix and try to do something a little bit different. But I think they were hoping for that perfect fescue surface. I mean, the 13th green, the 7th green, they're immaculate. They're great to putt on. I mean, that's one of the best surfaces you'll ever putt on. But they're the new ones that haven't been kind of infested with a bit of different sort of grasses. So I'm sure they're not excited with how it ended up. There are definitely issues, but as I said, I think good putters putt well on bumpy greens. So it's not what you want for the national championship, but I don't think it'll affect the tournament.
You talked about 7 and 13, but some people also talked about 12. What did you think of 12 out there?
12's pretty bad. It's obviously it's probably in the shade a lot, and it's like probably in a great setting for Poa to thrive when you get in the shade, and it kind of stays a bit more moist. And as I said, I'm not an agronomist, but they obviously thought a year out or something that they'd be fine, and they've ended up not being so. The trouble is, some greens like 12, there's so few places you can put pins. It's a massive green, but there's only 2 or 3 spots that are flat enough to put a pin, so all the traffic is in the one area. So I mean, that just when greens are actually struggling there, you just it just wears them out a little bit, I guess. But as I said, everyone's talking about it during the week, and there's some players who've made some comments, but I think we're a bit precious sometimes, pros. I think it's actually it's not what we wanted, but it's still fine. We would like them better, but if you hit good putts for 72 holes, you're probably going to hole a few. You know what I mean?
One said that it was pretty embarrassing to hear some of the comments. You know, do you agree, disagree with that?
I don't really pay too much attention to the comments, to be fair. Look, when you it's frustrating to play US Open, and it's very difficult when you get someone 5 minutes after they walk off the last up here to not be frustrated, because it's just frustrating anyway. And if you have a couple of putts bump off line in the last few holes, guys are going to come off and be a bit annoyed about it, and that's probably fair enough. But as I said, we're so spoilt. We get such perfect services and such perfect conditions everywhere we play. We're just not used to seeing it. I mean, the average guy probably plays on surfaces like this all the time, so they're probably like, these guys, what are they talking about? As I said, I'm sure the the USGA would have preferred them to be better, but they did the best they could with whatever happened, you know. And someone's going to be holding the trophy at the end of the day, and no one's even going to. There won't be a mention of the greens. In a week's time, no one will even think about it.
How long do you think before the US Open comes back, Geoff?
Yeah.
How long do you think it should be before it comes back?
To this course?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be well past my time. They go a long time in advance, don't they? The USGA picking. I'm not sure really. I think it's obviously a fantastic city. It's along with like New York and Chicago. It seems like one of the best sports towns in the US, especially for like the fans. I mean, obviously the Seahawks, they got the best fans in football. It seems like rivals of the Cardinals in Arizona. So we struggle to beat them. It's a great sports town. They love their sports. It's been a great venue in a lot of ways. I think, as I said, it's logistically got some issues, but that's nothing that 15 or 20 years they can work that out. I'm sure. I'm sure they'll come back here. I think they'll come back. I don't know when, but I'm sure they'll come back.
Tell me about your round today. How do you feel at 3 under today? Nice score on a Sunday. Do you think this makes you feel good? You're happy with your performance today?
Today, yeah. Most of the week, yes. I was 5 over in 6 holes in the middle of yesterday's round. And apart from that, and I kind of got a bit grumpy and flustered, and everybody had, not everybody, the guys who were 4 under starting this week, probably starting today, didn't have a run like that, but probably everyone else did. It's just one of those things that happens in US Opens. It's kind of was a bit annoying. I was pretty flat last night because I kind of had a chance after 36 holes, and I didn't have a chance after 54. Wow, no, I didn't really. But all in all, I like how I'm playing. I missed a bunch of putts in the first 2 days too, really. So I could have been in a lot better position. I kind of made a few today. Didn't make them all, but made a few. Played well, moved forward the right direction on Sunday, and my next start's actually going to give me St Andrews, which is probably my favourite place in the world to play golf. So pretty excited about that. I mean, my form seems to be getting better a little bit by bit, so nice to go under. I mean, don't go under par very often in the US Open, so it's kind of nice to do it on a Sunday.
This isn't your new favorite course?
My new favourite course?
This isn't your new favorite course?
No, but it's a lot of it I really like. I like the golf that it got us to play. We play so much restrictive, narrow, soft golf that the last 2 years the setups have been setting a responsible example for how golf is supposed to be played. It's not supposed to be overwatered. It's supposed to kind of turn brown. The ball's supposed to roll when it lands. This has been a pretty extreme example, obviously, but the USGA, it feels like through their setup of the last 2 US Opens, Mike and the USGA are trying to set an example of let's stop putting so much water on golf courses and let's let the ball roll, and showing there's more ways to make a golf course difficult than just make it narrow and soft and small targets. You know, this wide field is the widest US Open I've ever seen. The last 2 years have been the widest 2 US Opens ever, and they've both been really, really difficult. Not my favourite course, but I like what they're doing. I like the idea behind it.
Just on your own round, Geoff, when you got to 2 over with most of the back nine to come, did you have to score at one? Did you
I thought even par might have some chance today, but then I 3-putted 14, which was, it is what it is. I mean, everyone's going to have 3 putts. It was a shame, but I thought even par, you never know. I thought I won't get on the plane if I finished at even par. I mean, I didn't really think that, but I would have, you know. But no, it's just, as I said, it's just nice to make a few birdies and move the right direction, and it'll. I'm going to finish today in a better position than I started, and that's all you really want, I think, on a Sunday.
Someone got you in the last one, so
That was a baby, so it's hard to get mad because it's not the baby's fault. There's like 2 milliseconds that any earlier that you stop, I would stop, and any later it would be too late to put me off. But it was a massive flinch. I mean, I have done that for years. It was just immaculate timing. But in reality, I had a decent putt at birdie, and I hit a perfect putt, and I don't know how it didn't go in. I still don't know how it didn't go in. But it is what it is. I mean, that stuff happens.